Hello and welcome back for another episode of the Successful Mentalist podcast. My name is Aidan O'Sullivan, and that over there, where I'm pointing around, and then I've realised that actually the listeners, again, still can't. We've been doing this for literally since we started.
I'll have to chip in. It's Ashley Green. I'm here in your ear.
That was weird. Today we're actually in this little Just the Tip episode, we're talking about the problem with cold outreach. Now we know that as entertainers, a lot of what we do relies on this whole word of mouth kind of stuff. That seems to work really, really well for all entertainers. However, there's a bit of that that doesn't get factored in, and that's actually starting the word of mouth chain in the first place and doing a lot of this cold outreach, actually having to go and contact somebody that you've never met before, or maybe it's like the owner of a venue, or maybe there's I don't know, there's like somebody that you would like to connect with but you've genuinely never met, and as a result you have to go in completely cold. And most people, especially the people inside Learn to Thrive, they started asking this same question just in different forms, and that's quite simply why is cold outreach so hard? So Ashley, why is cold outreach so hard?
Well, it's hard, I think, because most people do it wrong. Let's give an example of one of our students in Learn to Thrive. They were going away constantly, like, Aidan, I remember when I showed you what they were doing. They had a whole spreadsheet of literally all the different events companies, event planners in their area. Fantastic. And they went, right, I go through every day and I message them and I phone them and I email them, but I don't get any results from them. Okay. This is a big issue. Like, they were going in cold and it wasn't going away. It was literally the fact. It's hard. Cold outreach is hard. It was that question. Why was it hard though? Because they were going about it all wrong. They was going straight in and phoning these people or messaging these people on email or LinkedIn or text or whatever and saying, hey, I'm the local magician. Do you want to team up? Do you want to literally do a magic show with me? Can people book me? Blah, 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 blah. They were going from 0 to 100 so quick. And as a byproduct, the people who they were messaging were literally just turned off. It was like, hey, I don't even know you. I have no idea who you are. You've just entered my world. And now you're saying you want me to refer you to all my good clients. Now you're saying you want me to book you for these events that I do. No, thank you. Goodbye. That's the problem with cold outreach. And it can be solved quite simply by just being more friendly and being more personable. And when you can do that, you get more results. Let's dive into that.
Well, just before we get to there, I think it's really important for people that aren't necessarily familiar with this concept of cold outreach or cold traffic or anything like that. It's really important to understand that there's a few key categories of traffic that you can get through your network onto your website or to anywhere really. And there's three kind of categories. You've got cold traffic, warm traffic, and hot traffic. You kind of saw that one coming. It's pretty self-explanatory here, but to dive into each. Cold traffic being people that you've never met before, you literally don't have a relationship with at all. There is no connection whatsoever. It's probably the first time you've heard of them or they've heard of you. It's completely cold because I want you to imagine imagine everybody, like your clients and all these prospects are chickens, and you want a really good chicken dinner. Now, you're not going to eat it just cold and raw. You have to cook it up. So actually, you've got to move people from I'm going with it, I don't even care. You have to move them from this complete cold raw chicken into warm and hot. And now how do you do that? Well, first of all, you put it in the oven. And bear with me, this is going to make sense in a second. You put them in the oven, and that oven, for lack of a better metaphor right now, is the nurture process where you're actually going to connect with them. You're going to become personable. You're going to understand them. You're going to relate to them. You're going to be able to get that relationship actually moving so that, most importantly, they have a connection to you, and the other way around works the same. You have a connection to them, because before we even go in, like the people, as you said, Ashley, people go in cold, hoping for something and expecting something when there's nothing there in the first place. And what we want to do is we want to bring them from that cold raw chicken all the way up to something that is it's on the way to being a really great dinner. It's on the way to being really tasty. And then that leaves that third category there, that actually the hot traffic, hot leads, hot chicken. And that's where you want to be eating from. That's the pool that you really want to be dipping into. That's the pool of people that you really want to be sort of connecting with and spending more time with. Why? Because it's the perfect chicken. It's the most satisfying chicken dish you will ever eat. And you do that through this process of taking complete strangers into this relationship, building that relationship, adding that personal touch, having that really great dynamic there, and warming that to a point that it is not just a relationship, but it's more of a connected friendship of some sorts. Because then when you ask, they're more likely to reciprocate upon that ask because you've built up that sort of value. There you go. There's a new training for you, Ashley. The chicken metaphor to I don't know, something. I hope it made sense.
Stop eating raw chickens. Stop going in and stop saying, "Hey, do you want to book me?" and eating your raw chickens. Put them in the oven, warm them up, cook them, and then when they're ready, then you can dig into your dinner. You know, I've always I haven't summed it up with a chicken analogy, but the way I always used to sum this up, Aidan, was like
I don't think anybody
dating.
summed it up as as a chicken analogy. Let's be
honest. When you started saying that, I was like, "Is he describing Chicken Run?" I got very confused where this episode was going, but I always described it as like dating, like, you know, reaching out cold and going in straight away and just pitching yourself immediately. Like, this works in restaurants as well. Like, when people were looking for residencies, just going in and say, "Hey, do you want to book me? I'm an entertainer." They'd be like, "Well, go away. I don't even know who you are." Like, I always describe this. Imagine if you were dating. Imagine if you saw someone on Facebook or Instagram and went, "Hey, they're pretty. I'll message them," and message them, "Would you like to marry me?" You'd be a creep. They'd block you. They'd say no. It's the exact same thing as in entertainment. Like, if you actually wanted to get with them, you'd say hi, and then you'd connect with them on a more personal level. And that's the exact same that we need to bring into our business. And when you can start to understand that, whether you're looking at a dating analogy or whether you're looking at cooking chickens or whatever, both processes are the same. You're warming people up, getting them used to you. You're finding more about them. And yes, it does take a little bit longer, but you get so much more results out of it. And it doesn't take that much longer. You just actually need to be human. You just literally need to invest a bit of time into them and show that you actually care and that you're a real person, not just a money-hungry magician that just wants every gig under the sun.
Well, exactly that. I love how this one episode here, talking about the absolute crux of the reason most entertainers struggle and grind and hustle all the way through their entertainment careers, has literally turned into both a dating show and a cooking show all at the same time. That is what you call productivity right there. But yeah, as you were saying, Ashley, like, it's this whole concept of leading without expectations, actually being the generous person actually in that. And we always say that, like, the concept of networking, because that's what it comes down to, even if it's cold traffic on your website, it's you still want to bring them closer to you in your network. Whether that's them putting their name and email address in a form on your website, or dropping you a direct message, or anything, actually having a conversation with you. That's the dream. That's where you want to be. But I can't remember the point I was going to make there, but it's important that we're bringing people closer, leading with that generosity, and actually being able to go in without expectations. Like, yes, they might be having a conversation with you, but you shouldn't expect a gig out of that. You shouldn't be like, "Oh, yep, great, now is the time to go and get a gig," or "Now is the time to go." Because, again, what you want to do is, a really great measure of this is just relationship quality, RQ, and quite literally for everyone in your networking relationships, just look, where would you rate them on a scale of 1 to 5? 1 being terrible relationship, needs a lot of work, and 5 being so good, friends outside of a professional setting. Where would you rate this person? And if it's anything below like a 4, you want to spend more time actually warming them up, popping them in the oven, so that you can then ask the question, and you'll be more likely to actually receive a result. But yeah, networking, it's a long-term strategy with short-term benefits. I feel like we need to tweet that or something. That's a really pithy thing to put on Twitter, but there you go. Keep
that quote, and then keep the quote with a chicken analogy as well. But no, just to drum this in before we finish, like, the way I go around this when I'm looking at outreaching to people cold, I'm not saying, "Do you want to book me?" When I outreach to suppliers, photographers, and all these people in that industry, I message them. For example, photographer, I just say, "Hey, great photos, but only if I genuinely care and I think they've taken a great photo. That's my opening pitch. They're now going to get all of the spam from other suppliers, like, do you want to work with me? Do you want to work with me? And then finally a nice guy saying, great photo. They respond. And then I have a back and forth chat about them, finding out about them. Bang, I'm in, and I'm warming up that friendship, warming up that client. And I'll give a real world example that happened the other day, Aidan. Someone that I'm looking to get a residency from. I didn't ask them about a residency. I knew I wanted a residency there. I just connected on that level. We went out for some drinks. They came in to a little other place where I was also performing as well. And they're like, oh, hey, Ashley, how you doing? You should pop down to the pub afterwards with us. Couldn't for obvious reasons, but I'm now in more of that friendship zone so that I can literally say, hey, do you want to book me? Like, boom, done. And I don't need to seem like that desperate guy. Like, I've taken the time to care about them. And it means that your efforts are so much more successful, and you also get good communication and a nice bit of fun out of it. Like, we enjoy this stuff. It's good fun. We genuinely enjoy it.
100%. And if anybody wants to come and actually learn the full processes behind all of this, to actually make sure that this is completely solid, you can head over and join us inside of Learn to Thrive. That's our elite 7-week coaching program designed to get you thriving and hustle-free in your entertainment career. And to find out if you're a great fit, takes literally a couple of minutes at the most. Head over to thriveinmagic.com and all of the info about the program will be there. We'd love to actually help you get this dialed in. But to summarize today, clients are like chickens. You have to warm them up before you eat them. Don't date strangers on the internet. Is that the point we're making? Let's say that.
Yep.
Don't date strangers.
Stop marrying strangers.
Stop marrying strangers and
stop eating raw chicken.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks, everybody.
Wonderful.
We'll see you soon.
See you soon, and good luck with your chicken.